The arrival. The massive intergalactic cruiser glided silently through the star-studded void, its sleek hull reflecting the distant pinpricks of light. Inside, Jenna Reed sat rigidly in her seat, her fingers drumming an anxious rhythm on the armrest. The 17-year-old from Earth felt woefully out of place among the diverse array of alien life forms surrounding her. As the ship approached the Galactic Academy of Sciences, Jenna's breath caught in her throat. The sprawling complex hung suspended in space, a marvel of engineering that defied her understanding of physics. Multiple crystalline domes interconnected by shimmering bridges formed a structure that seemed to bend reality itself. The cruiser docked with a gentle hiss, and Jenna found herself swept along in a tide of excited alien students. She clutched her backpack tightly, feeling the weight of Earth's hopes and dreams pressing down on her shoulders. She hadn't asked for this responsibility. Her name had been drawn at random from a global lottery when the Galactic Federation extended a single slot to humanity at their most prestigious institution. As Jenna stepped onto the Academy's polished floor, she was struck by a cacophony of sights, sounds, and smells that overwhelmed her senses. Holographic displays flickered with incomprehensible data streams. Alien languages buzzed and chirped around her. The air itself seemed charged with an energy that made her skin tingle. "Greetings, Earth Dweller," a melodious voice chimed from behind her. Jenna turned to find herself face to face with a tall, willowy being whose skin shimmered with an iridescent sheen. "I am Lyra, your assigned orientation guide. Welcome to the Galactic Academy of Sciences." Jenna managed a weak smile. "Thanks. I'm Jenna. This is a lot to take in." Lyra's features rearranged themselves into what Jenna hoped was a sympathetic expression. "Indeed. Your species is new to interstellar travel. It must be quite overwhelming." As Lyra led her through the winding corridors, Jenna couldn't help but notice the curious and sometimes dismissive glances from other students. She heard whispers in languages her universal translator couldn't quite catch, but their tone was clear enough. They arrived at a circular chamber lined with shimmering force fields. "This will be your dormitory," Lyra explained. "The environment is adaptable to various species' needs." Jenna hesitantly stepped through the force field, relieved to find the interior comfortably Earth-like. "Thank you," she said, turning to Lyra. "When do classes start?" "Your first lecture begins in precisely 47 Galactic Standard Minutes," Lyra replied. "I suggest you use this time to acclimate. Your academic schedule has been uploaded to your personal data device." With that, Lyra shimmed away, leaving Jenna alone in the alien room. She sank onto the bed, her mind reeling. What had she gotten herself into? How could she possibly compete with beings who had grown up with this advanced technology, who understood the fundamental principles of the universe in ways humanity had barely begun to grasp? Jenna's thoughts were interrupted by a soft chime. She fumbled with her data device, deciphering the alien script to find her first class: Quantum Entanglement and its Applications in Faster-than-Light Communication. Taking a deep breath, Jenna steeled herself. She was here to represent Earth, to prove that humanity deserved a place among the stars. She couldn't let her doubts hold her back. As she made her way to the lecture hall, Jenna couldn't shake the feeling that she was being watched. She glanced over her shoulder, catching a glimpse of a tall, imposing figure quickly ducking out of sight. Shaking off her unease, she entered the vast amphitheater. The lecture hall was a marvel of alien architecture, with tiered seating that seemed to defy gravity and a central podium surrounded by swirling holograms. Jenna chose a seat near the back, hoping to avoid drawing attention to herself. As the other students filed in, Jenna marveled at their diversity. There were beings composed of pure energy, others with multiple limbs and eyes, and some whose very forms seemed to shift and change as she watched. She felt painfully ordinary in comparison. The room fell silent as the professor entered. Dr. Six was an imposing figure, standing nearly 8 feet tall with 4 arms and a head that seemed to be composed entirely of swirling galaxies. His voice resonated through the hall, bypassing Jenna's ears and speaking directly into her mind. "Welcome, students, to Advanced Quantum Mechanics," Dr. Zix began. "We will begin with a brief assessment of your current knowledge." Panic gripped Jenna as a holographic display materialized before each student. The questions that appeared were unlike anything she had ever encountered. Equations with symbols she didn't recognize, concepts that made her head spin. As she stared at the incomprehensible test, something strange happened. The symbols began to shift, rearranging themselves in her mind. Patterns emerged, connections she couldn't explain but somehow understood. Without fully realizing what she was doing, Jenna began to answer the questions. When the assessment ended, Jenna looked up to find Dr. Zix staring directly at her, his galaxy eyes swirling with intensity. "Interesting," he murmured, before turning his attention back to the class. As the lecture progressed, Jenna found herself grasping concepts that should have been far beyond her understanding. It was as if a door had been unlocked in her mind, allowing her to see the universe in a whole new way. When the class ended, Jenna gathered her things, her mind buzzing with new knowledge. As she stood to leave, she felt a hand on her shoulder. She turned to find Dr. Zix looming over her. "Ms. Reed," he said, his voice a low rumble. "A word, if you please." Jenna swallowed hard, following the professor to his office. As the door closed behind them, she couldn't shake the feeling that her journey at the Galactic Academy was about to take an unexpected turn. The unexpected talent. Dr. Zix's office was a testament to the vastness of the universe. Holographic star charts danced along the walls, and strange artifacts from distant worlds cluttered every surface. Jenna stood nervously before the professor's desk, acutely aware of how small and insignificant she felt. "Your performance on the assessment was unexpected," Dr. Zix began, his galaxy eyes swirling with curiosity. "Tell me, Ms. Reed, how did you come to understand concepts that most species take decades to grasp?" Jenna shifted uncomfortably. I'm not sure, sir. It just sort of made sense when I looked at it." Dr. Zix leaned forward, his forearms folding on the desk. "Fascinating. Perhaps there is more to your species than we initially believed. I will be watching your progress with great interest." As Jenna left the office, her mind raced. She hadn't cheated. She was certain of that. But how had she known the answers? It was as if the knowledge had always been there, waiting to be unlocked. Over the next few weeks, Jenna threw herself into her studies with a fervor that surprised even her. Each class brought new challenges, but also new revelations. She found herself grasping complex theories of quantum mechanics, unraveling the mysteries of dark matter, and deciphering the intricacies of faster-than-light travel. Her fellow students began to take notice. Some, like San, a crystalline being from the Andromeda galaxy, approached her with curiosity and friendship. Others, like Vex, a hive-mind entity composed of billions of microscopic organisms, watched her with suspicion and resentment. One day, during a practical exercise in applied quantum entanglement, Jenna's abilities truly came to light. The class was tasked with establishing a stable quantum link between two particles, separated by a significant distance. Most students struggled, their efforts resulting in fleeting connections that collapsed within seconds. When it was Jenna's turn, she approached the apparatus with trepidation. As she began the process, something clicked in her mind. She saw the particles not as separate entities, but as interconnected threads in the fabric of space-time. With a few deft adjustments, she established a link so stable that it left even Dr. Zix speechless. "Impossible," Vex buzzed, its billions of components vibrating with agitation. "The human must be cheating." Dr. Zix held up a hand to silence the murmurs rippling through the class. "Accusations without evidence are unworthy of this institution," he said, his voice stern. "Ms. Reed's accomplishment is remarkable, regardless of her species." As the class dispersed, Jenna felt a mix of pride and unease. Her success was undeniable, but it also set her apart, making her a target for both admiration and suspicion. Later that evening, as Jenna sat in the Academy's vast library, Poring over texts on advanced theoretical physics, she was approached by Xan. The crystalline being's facets sparkled with concern. "Jenna, your achievements are impressive," Tan said, its voice a melodious chime. "But they have not gone unnoticed. There are those who question how a human could advance so quickly." Jenna sighed, closing the holographic book before her. "I don't know how to explain it, San. It's like I'm remembering things I never learned, as if the knowledge was always there, just waiting for the right moment to surface." San's crystalline structure shimmered thoughtfully. "Perhaps there is more to your species than meets the eye. The universe is vast and full of wonders we have yet to understand." As they talked, neither noticed the shadowy figure lurking behind a nearby data terminal, listening intently to their conversation. The next day, Jenna arrived at her xenobiology class to find the atmosphere tense. Dr. Zix stood at the front of the room, his galaxy eyes swirling with an intensity she had never seen before. "Today," he announced, "we will be conducting the special examination, one that will test not just your knowledge, but your ability to apply it in novel situations." A hush fell over the room as holographic displays materialized before each student. Jenna's heart raced as she saw the complexity of the problems presented. This was no ordinary test. As she began to work through the questions, Jenna felt that familiar sensation, the unlocking of knowledge she shouldn't possess. The problems, ranging from the intricacies of alien DNA to the principles of exobiology, seemed to solve themselves in her mind. Time blurred as Jenna lost herself in the examination. When she finally looked up, she realized she was the last student still working. The others had either given up or submitted their answers, their faces a mix of frustration and resignation. With a deep breath, Jenna submitted her responses. The room held its collective breath as Dr. Zix reviewed the results. His galaxy eyes widened, swirling faster than Jenna had ever seen. "Perfect," he murmured, his voice a mix of awe and disbelief. A perfect score on an exam designed to be impossible. The room erupted into chaos. Accusations of cheating mingled with gasps of amazement. Vex vibrated so intensely that several of its component organisms broke away, floating in agitated clouds. "Silence!" Dr. Zix's voice thundered, quieting the uproar. He turned to Jenna, his gaze piercing. "Ms. Reed, your performance defies all expectations. It seems we have greatly underestimated the potential of your species." As Jenna left the classroom, her mind reeling from the implications of her success, she failed to notice the figure following her. It moved with purpose, its form shifting and blending with the shadows. That night, as Jenna lay in her dormitory, trying to make sense of the day's events, a soft chime alerted her to a message on her data device. The sender was anonymous. The content cryptic. "Your talents have not gone unnoticed. Meet me at the Celestial Observatory at midnight. Come alone. The fate of your species may depend on it." Jenna stared at the message, her heart pounding. She knew she should report this to the Academy authorities, but something held her back. A burning curiosity, a desire to understand the source of her inexplicable abilities. As the Academy's artificial night cycle deepened, Jenna made her decision. She would go to the observatory. Whatever secrets lay behind her newfound talents, she was determined to uncover them. Little did she know, her journey was about to take a turn that would shake the foundations of the galactic community and redefine humanity's place among the stars. The test. The Celestial Observatory hung suspended at the very edge of the Galactic Academy, a crystalline dome offering an unobstructed view of the cosmos. As Jenna approached, her footsteps echoing in the empty corridors, she couldn't shake the feeling that she was walking into something far bigger than herself. The observatory was dimly lit, the only illumination coming from the sea of stars visible through the transparent ceiling. Jenna's eyes darted around, searching for the mysterious sender of the message. "I'm glad you came, Ms. Reed." A familiar voice resonated through the chamber. Dr. Zix emerged from the shadows, his galaxy eyes swirling with an intensity that made Jenna take a step back. "Professor, You sent the message? Jenna asked, confusion evident in her voice. Dr. Zix nodded, his forearms clasped behind his back. Indeed. What I'm about to share with you must remain confidential. The implications could reshape the balance of power in the galaxy. He gestured towards a complex machine in the center of the observatory. It resembled a chair, surrounded by swirling holographic displays and pulsing with an otherworldly energy. This, Ms. Reed, is the Cosmic Cognition Analyzer. It's designed to measure a being's ability to comprehend and manipulate the fundamental forces of the universe, Dr. Zix explained. No human has ever been subjected to this test. Until now. Jenna swallowed hard, her eyes fixed on the imposing device. Why me? Why now? Because you've demonstrated abilities that should be impossible for your species, Dr. Zix said, his voice a mix of curiosity and concern. We need to understand how and why. With trepidation, Jenna approached the chair. As she sat down, she felt a tingle of energy wash over her. The holographic displays sprang to life, surrounding her with a dizzying array of symbols, equations, and three-dimensional models of cosmic phenomena. The test will present you with problems that push the boundaries of known science, Dr. Zix explained. Don't be discouraged if you can't solve them all. Even the most advanced species struggle with these concepts. As the test began, Jenna felt that now familiar sensation, the unlocking of knowledge she shouldn't possess. The problems before her were mind-bending, manipulating the fabric of space-time, predicting the behavior of particles that existed in multiple dimensions simultaneously, unraveling the mysteries of dark energy. To her amazement, solutions came to her as naturally as breathing. Her hands moved of their own accord, manipulating the holographic displays with a fluidity that surprised even her. Equations flowed from her mind. Theories formed and reformed, each building upon the last to create a tapestry of understanding that transcended conventional physics. Dr. Zix watched in stunned silence, his galaxy eyes swirling faster with each problem Jenna solved. Hours passed, though to Jenna it felt like mere moments. When the final problem faded away, she slumped back in the chair, mentally exhausted but exhilarated. The observatory was silent save for the soft hum of the machinery. Dr. Zix approached slowly, his expression unreadable. Ms. Reed, he began, his voice barely above a whisper, in all my centuries of teaching, I have never seen anything like this. You've not only solved problems that have puzzled our greatest minds for eons, but you've proposed solutions that could revolutionize our understanding of the universe itself. Jenna blinked, trying to process his words. But how? I'm just a human. We've barely left our own solar system. Dr. Zix shook his head, a gesture he had picked up from his time studying humans. You are far more than just a human, Ms. Reed. Your species has a potential we never imagined. The question is, why has it manifested in you? And why now? Before Jenna could respond, alarms blared throughout the academy. Red lights flashed, and a computerized voice echoed through the corridors. Security breach detected. All students and faculty report to designated safe zones immediately. Dr. Zix's galaxy eyes widened. Impossible, he muttered. The Academy's defenses are impenetrable. A holographic display materialized before them, showing multiple ships of unknown design approaching the Academy. Their sleek, predatory forms sent a shiver down Jenna's spine. Professor, she said, her voice trembling, what's happening? Dr. Zix's expression was grim. It appears, Ms. Reed, that your extraordinary abilities have attracted unwanted attention. Those ships belong to the Void Collective, a group of renegade scientists obsessed with unlocking the secrets of the universe, no matter the cost. Jenna's mind raced. But how did they know about me? I'm afraid we have a traitor in our midst, Dr. Zix said, his voice heavy with regret. Someone who sees your potential as a threat, or an opportunity to be exploited. The observatory door burst open, revealing a squad of security drones led by Vex, the hive mind entity. Its billions of component organisms buzzed with agitation. The human must be contained, Vex declared. Her powers are too dangerous to be left unchecked. Dr. Zix moved to stand between Jenna and the security force. Stand down, Vex. Ms. Reed is under my protection. Her abilities could be the key to defending the Academy, and perhaps the entire galaxy. Vex's components swirled angrily. You're blinded by your fascination with this primitive species, Professor. The human is a threat that must be neutralized. As tensions rose, Jenna felt something stirring within her. The knowledge she had gained, the cosmic truths she had unraveled during the test, they were coalescing into something more. An understanding that transcended mere facts and figures. With a clarity she had never experienced before, Jenna saw the connections between all things, the delicate balance of forces that held the universe together, and the role she had to play in maintaining that balance. Stop, she cried out, her voice carrying an authority that surprised even her. Both Dr. Zix and Vex turned to look at her, momentarily stunned by the power in her tone. Jenna stepped forward, her eyes blazing with newfound purpose. This conflict, this fear, it's all rooted in a fundamental misunderstanding of the universe and our place in it. I can see it now, clearer than ever before. We don't have time for petty squabbles. The Void Collective is coming, and if we don't stand united, everything we know could be lost. Her words hung in the air, charged with an energy that seemed to resonate with the very fabric of space-time. For a moment, the observatory was silent, the distant stars bearing witness to a turning point in galactic history. Then, slowly, Vex's components began to settle. Perhaps, it buzzed reluctantly, we have been hasty in our judgment. Dr. Zix nodded, his galaxy eyes swirling with a mix of pride and concern. Indeed, Ms. Reed, it seems your journey is far from over. The true test is yet to come. As if on cue, the Academy shuddered under the first assault from the Void Collective's ships. Jenna looked out at the approaching fleet, her mind already racing with possibilities, strategies, and solutions that no human had ever conceived before. She took a deep breath, steeling herself for what was to come. Whatever happened next, she knew that the fate of not just the Academy, but possibly the entire galaxy, rested on her shoulders. The ultimate test of humanity's potential was about to begin. The revelation. The Galactic Academy shuddered under another assault from the Void Collective's ships. Alarms blared throughout the structure as students and faculty rushed to defensive positions. In the midst of the chaos, Jenna stood in the Celestial Observatory, her mind racing with possibilities. Professor, she said, turning to Dr. Zix, I need access to the Academy's central computer core. The professor's galaxy eyes swirled with concern. That's highly restricted, Ms. Reed. Even I don't have full access. Trust me, Jenna insisted, her voice carrying a certainty that belied her years. I can see the patterns, the connections. I know how to stop this attack, but I need that access. Dr. Zix hesitated for a moment before nodding. Very well, but I'm coming with you. As they raced through the corridors, dodging panicked students and security drones, Jenna's mind was alight with equations and theories. The knowledge she had gained during the cosmic cognition test was coalescing into something greater, of understanding that transcended conventional physics. They reached the computer core, a massive crystalline structure pulsing with energy. Jenna approached a terminal, her fingers flying over the holographic interface. To Dr. Zix's amazement, she bypassed security protocols with ease, delving deep into the Academy's systems. Remarkable, he murmured. How are you doing this? Jenna's eyes never left the screen. It's like I can see the underlying code of the universe itself. The Academy's systems, the Void Collected ships, even the fabric of space-time. They're all part of the same cosmic tapestry. As she worked, holographic displays sprang to life around them, showing the battle raging outside. The Void Collective's ships were unlike anything the Academy had encountered before, their weapons tearing through defensive shields with frightening ease. There, Jenna exclaimed, her fingers dancing across the interface. I found a way to reconfigure the Academy's shields. If we modulate them to match the quantum frequency of the Void Collective's weapons, we can create a feedback loop that will neutralize their attacks. Dr. Zix watched in awe as Jenna implemented her plan. Outside, the Academy's shields flickered for a moment before stabilizing. The next volley from the Void Collective dissipated harmlessly against the barrier. Impossible! A voice buzzed from behind them. Vex had entered the room, its billions of component organisms vibrating with a mix of fear and admiration. How did a human accomplish what our best minds could not? Before Jenna could respond, a new alert flashed across the screens. "They're adapting," she muttered, her brow furrowed in concentration. "But so can we." Over the next few hours, a cosmic chess game unfolded. With each move the Void Collective made, Jenna countered, her understanding of the universe's fundamental forces growing with each passing moment. She reconfigured weapons systems, rewrote the laws of physics on a localized scale, and even managed to create micro-wormholes to redirect enemy fire. As the battle raged on, word of Jenna's extraordinary abilities spread throughout the Academy. Students and faculty gathered outside the computer core, watching in amazement as this young human single-handedly held off an invasion force that should have overwhelmed them. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, the Void Collective's ships began to retreat. A cheer went up from the gathered crowd, but Jenna remained focused on her task. "It's not over," she said, her voice tight with concentration. "They're regrouping for one final assault. But I think, yes, I can end this now." Her fingers flew across the interface one last time. Outside, the fabric of space itself seemed to ripple. A massive vortex of energy formed between the Academy and the Void Collective's fleet. A contained singularity. Dr. Zix breathed, his galaxy eyes wide with wonder. "You've created a localized black hole." The Void Collective's ships, caught in the gravitational pull of Jenna's creation, were drawn inexorably towards the event horizon. In a matter of moments, the entire fleet had vanished, swallowed by the cosmic maw. As the singularity collapsed in on itself, disappearing with a final flash of light, a stunned silence fell over the Academy. All eyes turned to Jenna, who slumped in her chair, physically and mentally exhausted. Dr. Zix was the first to speak. "Ms. Reed," he said, his voice filled with a reverence Jenna had never heard before, "I believe we owe you an explanation." Jenna looked up, her eyes questioning. "What do you mean?" The professor exchanged glances with Vex before continuing. "Your abilities, your innate understanding of the universe, they're not a fluke. They're the result of something far greater than we ever imagined." Vex buzzed in agreement. "We had our suspicions when you first arrived, but we never dreamed. We thought your species was primitive, barely out of its infancy. We were wrong." "I don't understand," Jenna said, looking between the two aliens. Dr. Zix's galaxy eyes swirled with a mix of excitement and trepidation. "Ms. Reed, Jenna, your species, humanity, is far older and far more advanced than anyone realized. The knowledge you've displayed, the abilities you've demonstrated, they're remnants of an ancient legacy." "What legacy?" Jenna asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "Eons ago," Dr. Zix explained, "there was a race of beings known as the Precursors. They were said to have seeded life throughout the galaxy, to have understood the fundamental forces of the universe in ways we can barely comprehend. We thought they were nothing more than a myth, a story told to explain the unexplainable." Vex's components swirled in agitation, but the evidence was there, hidden in plain sight. The quantum entanglement of your brain patterns, the way you intuitively grasp concepts that should be beyond your understanding. It all points to one inescapable conclusion. "Humanity," Dr. Zix said, his voice filled with awe, "is the descendant race of the Precursors." Jenna sat in stunned silence, trying to process this revelation. Her mind raced with implications, with questions, with a sudden understanding of why she had always felt somehow different. "But why now?" she finally asked. "Why me?" Dr. Zix shook his head. "We don't know. Perhaps the knowledge was always there, dormant in your species' collective unconscious, waiting for the right moment to resurface. Perhaps your exposure to advanced alien technology here at the Academy acted as a catalyst, awakening abilities that had lain dormant for millennia. Whatever the reason, Vex buzzed, its tone uncharacteristically respectful. It's clear that we have greatly underestimated humanity's potential. Your actions today have not only saved the Academy, but have opened up new avenues of scientific inquiry that could revolutionize our understanding of the universe. As the implications of this revelation sank in, Jenna realized that her journey was far from over. In fact, it was only just beginning. The knowledge of humanity's true heritage, of the cosmic legacy they carried within their very DNA, would change everything. She stood up, her exhaustion forgotten in the face of this new purpose. "We need to tell the others," she said. "Not just the Academy, but Earth as well. If what you're saying is true, then humanity has a far greater role to play in the galaxy than anyone ever imagined." Dr. Zix nodded solemnly. "Indeed, Ms. Reed, and I believe you will be at the forefront of this new era. Your actions today have proven that humanity is ready to reclaim its place among the stars." As they left the computer core, news of Jenna's extraordinary feat had already spread throughout the Academy. Students and faculty lined the corridors, watching in awe as she passed. But Jenna hardly noticed. Her mind was focused on the future, on the challenges and opportunities that lay ahead. The Galactic Academy of Sciences had sought to gauge humanity's potential. Instead, they had unwittingly awakened a slumbering giant. As Jenna looked out at the star-studded expanse of space, she knew that the true test was only just beginning. Humanity's cosmic legacy awaited, and she was determined to help her species embrace its destiny among the stars. The paradigm shift. In the days following the Void Collective's attack, the Galactic Academy of Sciences was abuzz with activity. News of Jenna's extraordinary abilities and the revelation of humanity's true heritage spread like wildfire throughout the institution and beyond. The once dismissive attitudes towards humans had been replaced with a mix of awe, curiosity, and, in some cases, trepidation. Jenna found herself at the center of it all, thrust into a role she never could have imagined. As she stood before the Academy's Grand Council, a diverse assembly of the galaxy's most brilliant minds, she couldn't help but feel the weight of responsibility on her shoulders. Ms. Reed, the Council's chairperson, a being of pure energy contained within a crystalline matrix, addressed her. "Your actions have not only saved this institution, but have also forced us to reevaluate our understanding of the universe and the beings within it. We must now ask, what do you believe should be our next course of action?" Jenna took a deep breath, her mind racing with the implications of everything that had happened. "I think," she began, her voice steady despite her nerves, "that we need to approach this systematically. First, we need to establish a comprehensive research program to understand the full extent of our abilities." Dr. Zix, standing beside her, nodded in agreement. "I concur. We've only scratched the surface of what Ms. Reed, and potentially all humans, are capable of. This could revolutionize every field of study we have." Furthermore, Jenna continued, growing more confident, "we need to reach out to Earth. My people deserve to know the truth about their heritage, but we must do so carefully. This knowledge, it could be destabilizing if not handled properly." The council members murmured among themselves, their varied forms shifting and pulsing with energy. Finally, the chairperson spoke again. "Your wisdom belies your years, Ms. Reed. We agree with your assessment. A joint task force will be established immediately to begin this research, and we will prepare a delegation to make contact with Earth's leaders." As the meeting adjourned, Jenna felt a mix of relief and anticipation. The real work was just beginning. Over the next few months, Jenna found herself at the forefront of a scientific revolution. Working alongside the brightest minds in the galaxy, she helped unlock secrets of the universe that had eluded even the most advanced civilizations. Her intuitive understanding of cosmic principles, combined with the rigorous methodologies of alien scientists, led to breakthroughs in fields ranging from quantum mechanics to dark energy manipulation. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. As word of humanity's newfound status spread, political tensions began to rise. Some species viewed humans as a threat, fearing that they might reclaim their ancestors' position of galactic dominance. Others sought to ally themselves with Earth, hoping to benefit from humanity's awakening potential. Jenna found herself not just a scientist, but a diplomat as well. She traveled to countless worlds, speaking before assemblies of beings so diverse she could scarcely comprehend their forms. Each time, she emphasized the importance of cooperation, of using this new knowledge to benefit all species, not just humans. "We may be the descendants of the precursors," she often said, "but we're not seeking to rule. We're seeking to understand, to explore, to push the boundaries of what's possible. And we want to do that together, with all of you." Back on Earth, the revelation of humanity's true heritage had sparked a global transformation. Governments and institutions scrambled to adapt to this new reality. Schools began incorporating advanced cosmic principles into their curricula. Research into unlocking humanity's latent abilities became a top priority worldwide. Jenna watched with a mix of pride and concern as her home planet took its first tentative steps onto the galactic stage. She knew the path ahead would not be easy. Humanity had much to learn, not just about the universe, but about themselves and their place within it. As the Earth year drew to a close, Jenna found herself back at the Galactic Academy, standing once again in the celestial observatory where her journey had begun. Dr. Zix joined her, his galaxy eyes swirling with a mix of emotions. "You've accomplished so much in such a short time," he said, his voice filled with pride. "You've changed the course of galactic history." Jenna smiled, but there was a hint of sadness in her eyes. "Sometimes I wonder if it was too much, too fast. Are we ready for this? Is the galaxy ready for us?" Dr. Zix placed a comforting hand on her shoulder. "Change is never easy, Jenna, but it is necessary. Your species has reawakened to its true potential at a crucial time. The challenges facing our galaxy, the Void Collective, the encroaching dark energy, the mysteries still unsolved, we need humanity's unique perspective to face them." Jenna nodded, turning her gaze to the stars beyond the observatory's dome. "I just hope we can live up to the legacy of the precursors, not by ruling or dominating, but by helping to create a better future for all species." "That," Dr. Zix said softly, "is precisely why I believe you will succeed." As they stood there, contemplating the vast expanse of the cosmos, a new alert chimed on Jenna's communication device. Another crisis, another mystery, another opportunity to push the boundaries of knowledge and understanding. Jenna squared her shoulders, a determined glint in her eye. The journey of humanity's awakening was far from over. In fact, it was just beginning. Whatever challenges lay ahead, she was ready to face them, armed with the cosmic legacy of her ancestors and the unwavering spirit of human determination. As she prepared to depart for her next mission, Jenna cast one last look at the star-filled sky. Somewhere out there, the secrets of the precursors still waited to be uncovered. And humanity, with its newfound place among the stars, would be at the forefront of that grand cosmic adventure. The galaxy watched and waited, holding its collective breath as a once overlooked species took its first steps towards fulfilling an ancient destiny. The age of human awakening had begun, and the universe would never be the same.